Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
For me again, you can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't for me again.
What people do eat no money, what they at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss you, we eat the yellow correct you. Use the youth, them money, waste a must a man to statue. Say me like a cashew, but bigger than a figure you. Take the spit of money, girl, and say that it's not you. On the head, the man above him, him a got a bet too much. It in the kitchen, some a fly well like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me,
300% raise.
it burn me,
Garbage pile of the day.
it burn me,
Give the teacher them
it
raise.
burn me,
I see corruption
it
face.
burn me,
Mash down the people them house.
it burn me,
Every day appear arms out.
it burn me,
Appear money them a thief.
it burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't for me again, you can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't for me again.
Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in our river. Member bowl only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me,
Or they treat the market man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the cat man.
it burn me,
Or they treat the peanut man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the dirt man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat the son man.
it burn me,
Or them a treat policeman.
it burn me,
How them a treat soldier man.
it burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't for me again, you can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't for me again.
Stibbidim day, stibbidim day, stibbidim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we love lake. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Justice. This is the last line of defense, the only place where we can seek justice against our crooked politicians and crooked officials. Morning and welcome to Global Television. Thank you for joining us. As part of this morning's program, we are calling for the hold or rollback of many things, such as the NHT contribution, as well as the new social housing project and the indigent housing project rather, until we, the people, understand what the hell is going on. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls. Good morning and welcome. Gone! Fine in a parity. Haitians arrested in parity. I'll give you more of that. Yes, Bangarang in my community. We will talk more about that. But this morning, I have not prepared a program for you. And I'll tell you why. I have been busy all morning because I was at the hospital. No, I'm not ill. My cardiologist just happens to give me a whole bunch of appointment in one day. An ECG, where they do the trace of the graph of your heart, as well as a echocardiogram, which they do audio, video, and photographs of your heart. So, as well as seeing a consultant as well. So, it's nothing too off. It's just a review of my heart. Because you know, when you have blood pressure, if your doctor is not checking your kidney and your heart, your kidney has to see what the medication might be doing to your kidney, and your heart as to how your heart muscles are working, or blood flow, and all of that, then they're not doing an awful good service if they're not monitoring your heart as someone who has a blood pressure problem. So I didn't prepare a program for you this morning. We're just going to freestyle it out. And as you can see, the art of turning bullshit into a stack of gold. And yes, we're talking about no other one other than Mr. General Green Shirt. The Green Shirt Colonel came out yesterday. And I will tell you how I perceive what happened yesterday in my view. I will tell you what happened, I think happened yesterday, in my opinion, as an independent journalist. I thought Colonel Greenshot, for the untrained ear, which Jamaica has too much of it, the untrained ear, gave Dr. Campbell a good old walloping. He made an argument. Whether you want to say he was shitting all over the place, fair enough, but he was making an argument. And when it comes to making an argument and putting a story together, I think Colonel Greenshot did brilliant at it yesterday. I'm not going to knock Colonel for his job. Colonel is employed to spew shit. And if Colonel is employed to spew shit, and Colonel isn't spewing shit, then Colonel is not doing his job well. So hats off. Congals, JLP, congal off to Marlon Morgan for turning shit into a block of gold. You've done it, my youth. You've conquered the art of turning watery shit into solid gold. And that was excellent. Does the PNP have a moat? put Dr. Campbell aside. Dr. Campbell is not the media vice for the PNP. He may be the head cook and bottle wash for the People's National Party. One can agree with that. But does the People's National Party have a media segregate as doctorful and as spinful as Marlon Morgan? Because no doubt it's a part of the game of politics. It's either you're going to be honest or you're going to spin your way carefully out of things. And Marlon Morgan understands spinning. He played the spin brilliant yesterday, as I said, to the untrained ear, which Jamaica has a lot of that. Jamaica has an awful amount of untrained air. So you can hear fresh shit spewing and you would think it's gold, you see. And that's how brilliant Marlon Morgan played it yesterday. Does the PNP have such a brilliant media voice that is putting their message across, that is jumping out there at every jump and knock and making the PNP narrative known, put the PNP argument forward? Does the People's National Party have a Marlon Morgan to make the People's National Party message be heard? I don't think so. The PNP sitting on the tip of Peter Bunting's dick with Nikita Burchell as their media spin. An awful ketejon. Awful. The People's National Party on there, if you want to hide it, put it in fine writing. If you want to hide it, People's National Party, put it in fine writing. I'm not going to waste my time, strain my eyes to read PNP fine writing in this modern era. Cousin Myrna, how you do? Me now go use my brilliant eyesight if you look upon big things to go and look at those fine writing with PNP released in a press conference. That's not my job. If I know, I know. If I don't know, I don't know. I'm not going to strain my eyes in this modern day to see the bullshit that PNP are try hide on paper. I won't do that. It's a waste of time. Every minute they come out with these fine writing. What are you hiding? Because a broad part of the JLP base and the PNP base can't read. But we can understand when people talk. That's why Marlon does the job he does. He come out and he makes sure he cater and he spins. Because the base which Marlon is appealing to, whole heap of them cannot read. So him now go put it palm paper in a fine writing. So only those who decide to strain them eye can know what the PNP is saying. Will the PNP ever find somebody like Marlon Morgan, a messenger? You may not like the messenger, you know, but he can certainly deliver a message. Whether the message is lion's story, whether the message is true, whether the message is an announcer's story, Marlon Morgan can deliver it. You cannot take that from the youth. You cannot take that from him. Marlon Morgan master the art of turning shit into gold. He showed us yesterday. The PNP, on the other hand, whatever they're hiding from, whatever reason they think they don't want to grace the public, the JLP realized their foot was in their own mouth. They realized that. But let me finish with Marlon first. Marlon spinned his way brilliantly yesterday. But Marlon also shit all over the place, put his foot in his mouth. Because when it gets to answering questions that was posed from him by the media, flimsy though they were, that's where his foot literally got into his mouth. Literally got into his mouth. He shit himself because he couldn't answer to the issue of corruption within their batch or the dive of the of the Jamaica Labour Party in the polls and all of that. His foot went right into his mouth. But how brilliant of the JLP yesterday to use a 2-week-old debacle and came out in public like it's just manna dropped from heaven for the JLP over a 2-week-old debacle that they could have done press conference on long time ago. The Minister for Local Government on Wednesday disgraced the government at the podium. Let us know. It was said long time ago before we start pay them attention here. When you know the crooked media now ask no question, the crooked politician them like the PNP them let things slide. Cause damn, what the boy name? Deadman Mackenzie said it years ago. When Desmond Mackenzie talked about the indigent housing, this was years ago. But you know, vloggers weren't out there like that back then. You know, say since COVID, we really start pay very, very keen attention. Very, very keen attention we start pay to the politics of Jamaica. Beg your pardon. During the COVID era. But Mackenzie said this on JIS way before that. Way before he said what he said in the press conference on Wednesday, which we as vlogger picked up. He said it way before then. The difference is we, the people, weren't paying attention then. The question was we have to ask ourselves, was the PNP paying attention? Or is the PNP complicit? Both the indigent housing and the new social housing, from my understanding, both on, and I'm going to play both of them. Desmond Mackenzie project have a requirement for, and he's going to say it, for the person to have land. Andrew Holness's project, the new social housing project, the duplication because of the Prime Minister's way of grabbing where money goes. The Prime Minister duplication, there's a requirement to land. Okay, the Prime Minister said for him, and for him one are the one where steal people land. So I must go down for Desmond Mackenzie. No, so you mean, sir? Because you say enough for you. So I have for the other one. Because both have the land ownership requirement. Let's listen to Deadman on the indigent part of things. Then we're going to go and listen to Andrew with the poor part of things.
The social indigent housing program of the government of Dr. Andrew Holness, and I'm really proud of what we have been able to accomplish and lives that we have touched and changed.
I'm happy that you've shed some light on it, and I would have wanted you to a little bit more into the program itself, since it was started by your ministry.
Okay, what the program does, as I said before, persons can apply. They are investigated by the poor relief officers. They must have the land to build the units.
They must have the land to build the unit. Not the government provide the land to build the unit. We're talking about the indigent one, the one that is run by local government. There is a requirement. You must find the land. Because I hear labor rights running all over, saying it's two different things, and for Desmond Mackenzie one, the government provide land for poor people. But this is not what Desmond Mackenzie is saying, though.
Officers, they must have the land to build the units. And once that is done, we now proceed after the investigation to see whether or not the persons are eligible. They meet the criteria which is set up, because you must be a part of a program that does not allow you on your own. And there are cases where we have provided houses for persons who probably are not that destitute, but because of their circumstances, we have provided for them. Now, the Poor Relief Department of the municipal corporations retain responsibility for the units.
Yes.
So while you occupy those units, the Poor Relief Department does its monthly checking on the units. You are not allowed to do any addition to the units. The units come fully furnished. It is something that I when I came up with the idea of furnishing the units, we did it because there are cases where we saw persons have homes, but there is nothing for them to sleep on. So,
badly educated though the minister is, that was plain English, wasn't it? Badly educated though the minister is, wouldn't you say that was plain English, or if you want to call it Swinglish? Wasn't that plain for us to understand that, one, he was speaking about the social indigent program run by local government? Requirement is that you have land, and then you apply, you get investigated. After you get the property, you cannot do any addition, you cannot do any whatsoever. You just have to live till you're dead. You cannot pass it on. It then goes back to the government. But what about the land, Mr. Mackenzie, that we were just told by you that those applicants for the social housing indigent program, there's a land requirement. And then you're all saying it is not a scam. Then somebody need to explain to us why we understand it in the way we do, or why Mr. Mackenzie spoke in the way he did. Because it can't be that we on social media, because Andrew say people on social media walk and make it up. Andrew no said Desmond, come out, come put him foot in her mouth, you know. And just say, we I walk and make it up. No go so. But listen to the minister again. We're talking about social indigent housing, and then we'll go to the duplicated after that new social housing project.
The social indigent housing program of the government of Dr. Andrew Holness, and I'm really proud of what we have been able to accomplish and lives that we have touched and changed.
I'm happy that you've shed some light on it, and I would have wanted you to a little bit more into the program itself, since it was started by your ministry.
Okay, what the program does, as I said before, persons can apply. They are investigated by the poor relief officers. They must have the land to build the units. And once that is done, we now proceed after the investigation to see whether or not the persons are eligible. They meet the criteria which is set up, because you must be a part of a program that does not allow you on your own. And there are cases where we have provided houses for persons who probably are not that destitute, but because of their circumstances, we have provided for them. Now, the Poor Relief Department of the municipal corporations retain responsibility for the units.
Yes.
So while you occupy those units, the Poor Relief Department does its monthly checking on the units. You are not allowed to do any addition to the units. The units come fully furnished. It is something that I when I came up with the idea of furnishing the units, we did it because there are cases where we saw persons have homes, but there is nothing for them to sleep on. So we figured it does make sense to give you a nice room, and then you have to sleep on the cold ground.
Or furnish the
So we provide the necessary furnishing for the unit.
Right.
Now, the unit cannot be rented. It is not for sale. No addition can be done to the unit. And the unit cannot be handed down to family. And we have cases where occupants have died, and the Poor Relief Department retains the unit, and then it is handed over to someone else who is in need.
Absolutely.
So what we do, and we encourage persons to take care of the units. We notice that a lot of all of our units are built from concrete, and it has been done deliberately.
Deliberately, in the sense that it cements the scam. When the debacle broke loose after the occupant dies, it cements the scam of the government, because the government has its concrete on your land. The government has a fixed structure on your land. That's the deliberate move. The deliberate move was not to upgrade, not necessarily to upgrade your social standing. It wasn't. Whose land are the units made on? The units are made, as Delroy, Deadman, just told us, the units are made on the participant land. I play back that part for you, Stacey, and how you do. So you can hear for yourself, Claudette Campbell. So you can hear for yourself that there's a land requirement in Desmond Mackenzie social indigent housing program.
The social indigent housing program of the government of Dr. Andrew Holness, and I'm really proud of what we have been able to accomplish and lives that we have touched and changed.
I'm happy that you've shed some light on it, and I would have wanted you to a little bit more into the program itself, since it was started by your ministry.
Okay, what the program does, as I said before, persons can apply. They are investigated by the poor relief officers. They must have the land.
They must have the land. Did you hear that? They must, listen, JS up in a JLP battle wall. JS nor PBCJ isn't given any independence to ask such question, beat and teach. Literally, they have not. Them worse than Cliff Hughes. They're just there for JLP politicians to sit down and talk, like literally. So you heard Desmond McKenzie.
To build the units. And once that is done, we now proceed after the investigation to see whether or not the persons are eligible. They meet the criteria which is set up, because you must
So
be.
before they even investigate your circumstances, you must show, first of all, that you have access to land, or you have permission to use the land. That is the first criteria. That is the first criteria of the social housing indigent project. Then make sure you have the land first, then the investigation as to your eligibility follows.
After the investigation to see whether or not the person
Yes.
by the poor relief officers, they must have the land to build the units. And once that is done, we now proceed after the investigation to see whether or not the persons are eligible. They meet the criteria which is set up, because you must be a part of a program that does not allow you on your own. And there are cases where we have provided houses for persons who probably are not that destitute, but because of their circumstances, we have provided for them. Now, the Poor Relief Department of the municipal corporations retain responsibility for the units.
Yes.
So while you occupy those units, the Poor Relief Department does its monthly checking on the units. You are not allowed to do any addition to the units. The units come fully furnished. It is something that I when I came up with the idea of furnishing the units, we did it because there are cases where we saw persons have homes, but there is nothing for them to sleep on. So we figured it does make sense to give you a nice room, and then you have to sleep on the cold ground.
Or furnish the
So we provide the necessary furnishing for the unit.
Right.
Now, the unit cannot be rented. It is not for sale. No addition can be done to the unit. And the unit cannot be handed down to family. And we have cases where occupants have died, and the Poor Relief Department retains the unit, and then it is handed over to someone else who is in need.
Absolutely.
So what we do...
So you hear clearly there, the minister set out and explained to us that the government is actually in land theft engagement. They have actually done it before, is what the minister just explained to you. He's not saying that we're in the process of doing it. The minister says we have done. It is true to say the minister is badly educated, but honestly, one can say we understood the minister clearly when he says the criterias are you must have land. Then an investigation after we say you have land to put the unit on, we investigate your circumstances. We also heard the minister tell us what you cannot do with it. Who remains the right of control over it? The minister also told you that in previous circumstances, we have passed it on to another occupant when that person dies, because you know it cannot be handed down. But what the minister failed to speak about was what happened to the land of the occupant who provided the land to put the unit on. The minister just explained a crime in public years ago. Nobody was paying attention. Civil society wasn't, because civil society did a long time ago what them do. The People's National Party either weren't paying attention or they are complicit, because Desmond McKenzie said this years ago. Years ago, Desmond McKenzie said it. And it's only become a thing now because vloggers are paying close attention that the government is running a scam. The worst of what's a part of hit though is when Andrew Holness said he never had control over the scam that has been run. And given that he appoint a chief kickbackist to run local government, and just say, me now make Desmond one full in packet. May I create one as well that's called the new. I have to stretch it out, you know. The new social housing project. The duplication that the Auditor General spoke about. The duplication that Desmond McKenzie said, there is no duplication going on here. What? Because one is the social indigent and one is the new social housing? Aren't they housing project for poor people? Isn't it? Aren't they housing project for the less fortunate or those who are at a social disadvantage? They would have to buck down that war hit clot off of Milan. Buck it down. Buck it down. But Jamaica, these projects must be halted immediately to protect the poor and vulnerable of their little piece of generational wealth that they have. Remember, we're still waiting for the 40 acre and a mule. And the 1 square foot, what we get? Andrew Holness devised a scam that would make sure he ripped that generational wealth from under the feet of poor people. Now, we are quite clear that there's a scam going on in the, what's you call him? What the lion man the name? The kickback king. We clearly established that there's a scam going on in his housing project.
So, yeah, you were asking.
Let the Prime Minister explain his project to you. Let the Prime Minister explain his project to you while he's looking out for the holy them.
So, yeah, you were asking about the social housing program. So the social housing program is designed to assist Jamaicans who are in the most difficult housing situations, meaning that their housing condition is such that it is considered to be unsafe, unhealthy, in a state of dilapidation, and their economic condition is such that they are not able to improve, upgrade, repair, or rehabilitate their housing.
Yeah, in short, poor people. Just cut it short. Poor people. You don't have to go around circle, carry around sextant and dizzy way. Poor people. Poor people. One word, two words can solve the whole circle. Where are carrying that? Poor people. Ketep.
Housing. They're not working. They are probably retired. They're senior citizens. All right. Or they're indigent. We also require that.
So you also heard the word indigent pop up as a part of the Prime Minister's new social housing project. We're not talking about the social indigent housing project here now. We're talking about the new social housing project. But the indigent housing, oh God, what a confusion. The indigent social housing project looks about the indigent. And the new social housing project also looks after the indigent as well. Carry on, PM.
That the beneficiary has access, owns, or has permission. All right. Or has permission to use the land on which the granted benefit will be built. So,
right. So we're clear on the land requirement for the new social housing project as well, that there is a land requirement. So what we're clear on here, that both social housing project comes with a land requirement. That's where the scam is settled. Rather for Andrew, the participant, them own it, and for dead man, the council own it. We're clear here that there's a land scam because both told us that their program has a land requirement.
how do you actually get on the program? The first point is through your member of parliament. It's an MP driven program. All right. Bless. All right. So they will take your information. They are allotted 5 housing solutions each year for each constituency. All right. I hear you. And they then pass these applications on to the new social housing program, which is a unit in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation under housing. And that unit has an oversight committee which takes all the applications. They vet them and they do very thorough, very rigorous social investigation. So they actually come to your house or where you.
The amount of people Andrew have a work at the office of the Prime Minister, I feel that some of them still in a one and a lap up there. Because you know, take so much space for so much different ministry and different agencies. You can't tell me where you run some of the ministry and office them from, sir. Because we would have confused to deal with one set of staff. Never mind, Andrew have about 20 different set of staff or more dealing with. Man, you're good. You're good till your teeth.
You reside, they do a social survey, they talk to people in your community, they verify your employment status, your income status, your ability to work. They do a thorough check. And then after that process, they then verify that you actually either own the land or have access to the land or permission. And that would include bringing all the documentation and taxes up to date. And then from that process, it goes back to the selection committee to determine whether or not you actually pass the criteria. The whole process can take as short a time as 8 months, or we have seen situations where the process is as long as 2 years. So there is some amount of patience required. We are delivering now approximately 5 to 6 units per week, and we are completing probably about 8 to 10 per week. The objective is to... All right. The objective is to increase the pace of completion and increase the pace of delivery. We're over 300 houses now, so I'm expecting that next year the program will have developed the horsepower to be able to increase the pace at which we deliver, so that more people can get their houses more quickly. All right, TikTok, good talking to you. I'm going to get back to some work now as we head to the next location.
So I don't mad me mad then, all right? Uno not think me mad, because the Prime Minister make it out like we on social media or talk about the scam. We mad and scandalous. Can somebody tell me say me don't mad, please? And we hear carefully what the thieving man say. We hear careful what the thief man say. So I hope you don't think say me mad. I hope you don't think me mad, because the Prime Minister. What happened here so now? Gosh, my system is freezing. Hold on there. I hope you not hear me. Give me a chance that my system freeze up back here for me. What is wrong with these announces story? Hold on. Right. Should I go on to... Let me highlight to you as what is taking place in my community. And then we get back to the JLP them, because we have Currency Morrison for address as well. Miss Morrison, draw closer, because we're going to talk to you a little later. Minister Greenshot. One thing with Minister Greenshot, you can't count upon him when the kettle drum knock. Him turn up to promote the fuckery. But it's his job, so you can't beat him for do what they employ him for do. Otherwise, more than call for them sack him if him fail to do his job.
We are in the Parity area, where the police, acting on information, visited this address. On arrival at the location, one man ran from the rear of the premises into the swampy area. 2 females were detained. They have been confirmed to be Haitian nationals. A 9mm Browning pistol was also seized at this location. The police are at this time searching the area as well as the premises for additional weapons that we believe may be here at this location. This is the 3rd firearm that is being seized in the parish in the last couple of days. We continue to appeal to our citizens. Any information that they have that can assist the police to share with 119 or the Black River CID.
Right. This house where they went to, this young man regularly goes to Haiti. From my knowledge, he hasn't been there in a long while, but I said it on here before. My community is a part of the illegal gun distribution in Jamaica, because tantamount of them goes to Haiti, and we know what that involves. Tantamount of them also end up in prison at Haiti from my community. Some are my very own family members as well. But this particular young man, he's working for what he's working for. I mean, one party people come cuss me, but me not care if them cuss me. He's working for what he's working for. Menace to society. Menace to society. Donald Heath. Cocky. Donald Heath. Cocky. Menace to society. I want to go back to Miss Morrison. How we establish this scam, you know. So no can make JLP and Anjo veteran wagwan. Uno can follow Anjo when Anjo and Colonel Green shot. Minister Mout come out and try to turn shit into literal gold. Yes, that's his alias name, Cocky. Try to turn shit into literal gold. But this one came there, don't know what he came for, don't understand what he spoke about. I don't see the point of you joining the pantomime yesterday. I don't see the point, sir, of you coming to yesterday's pantomime. But dear old Jemima McFarlane, she went very poetic yesterday, unhinged without any meaning. Pretty dunce, bad man Matt Trash, look good dunce, Carencia Morrison. People like you, my mother call pretty dunce. So ear, just a blow so like punch a tire. What was that? Spirit and spirit and spirit and spirit. Good command of the language, my dear. A pantomime of the English language does not suggest one is bright. If you can squeak it, speak it, talk it, smoke it, spit, how Andrew not find nothing give you fiddle, teacher gal, bad man, Matt Trash. Because me notice them boy Matt Trash. From the 17th of September 2024, you have thrown your weight strongly behind the Prime Minister. You're no longer in the quiet. The next day after the debacle, when we found out the disgrace of this Prime Minister, you were the one to put your green frock on and go help him drink coconut to wash off the dirty heart where nothing can clean. You have become the JLP media czar because them things say you don't speak his spokeism. A bunch of cotton candy will melt away as he get in a mouth. Have any effect on people? We know it's acting, darling. I know everybody love everybody acting. You and that one on top of Peter Bunting's Dick, the Nikita Burchell, wanna come out here and speak like say we ask on if you come act in front of we. Drunk crow. Piece of common filth out there. We tired down. Nikita Burchell and Badman Matt Trash Currency Morrison. And also Jamaicans communicate. So when you come in front of we, the bullshit, so we say on a bright or so we say on a somebody. Come on, the whole of we know so on a dunce. No amount of acting can fool some away. If she went to drama school, go up on bloody stage. Go up on stage. And it people got drama school for go up on stage. Not to go back up thief, slackness, and corruption. And that's what Currency and Morrison, where they in the shadows and in the quiet, jump out from the 17th of September and put ourselves at the front of Andrew Holness Defense Task Force. Because on the one, the whole honor where a ton lapdog for Andrew Holness crime is because on the want back a seat. Holy Pano, they have to lay prostrate in front of Andrew Holness. I saw no woman get on a seat. That's why I no come there, no can go say present, or no can go come there, come try pretend to be that you're Shakespearean, you're dunce bitch. Stop it. It's bloody irritating. Read how people read and talk how people talk. Because I couldn't send me picking in school for you to teach them the bullshit. If you come out of school, can't talk nice without nothing in their head, Currency Morrison. Why the Prime Minister can't find you anything to do, darling? If you're so bright and pretty and top and cheap and how they never put you at the Ministry of Education? Look who they did put over there. Don't back a wall. Never even say present in a parliament, Marsha. Look pan tough, dry coconut of a sandy sand. Then put over the country's national security. And you, the bright old cahoots. Nothing so. Nothing. Go school for nothing. No learn nothing. Nothing in your head other than let me talk nice and make them think that I am bright. Talk nice and not brightness, dummy. Idiot. Idiot girl. Talk nice and brightness are two different something. You can't find more vulgar and hooligan than me, but you can't find brighter than me neither. So drop it. Drop it, Connie Bud. Drop it. Nothing in your head. It's all an act there. What, you think we haven't seen it? I mean, not all of us are JLP, you know, darling. And even the JLP, some of them say, what kind of bullshit that Currency are upon? Bullshit Currency. You know how fresh bullshit Japan ground? Splat. Fresh bullshit Currency. And then you gave it to Marlon Morgan to turn it into gold. Oh, no good. Oh, no good, because you shit the bullshit. And then Marlon Morgan take the bullshit and turn it into solid gold. Oh, no good. Oh, no, when it comes to bullshit, oh, no good. Talk. Marlene Malaho lose her seat. Oh, please, let us hear. We're not glad to see the back of the dance. No, she don't sell Currency, you know. Because at least Currency a dunceness now make no big decision. But Marlene Dunsness makes some big able decision in our country. Such as she was the Attorney General who lead the case against Jamaica in the hair debacle at the Kensington Primary School. You remember that? She was the one and is the one who literally is fingering and fungling our constitution. She's a constitutional predator, isn't it? You know what that cartoonist will say? Can you name the 3 branches of government? The corporations, the pedophiles, and the media. Those are the 3 branches of government that we have these days. The corporations, the pedophiles, and the so-called mainstream media. None of who we should not listen to, because all of them are working towards our demise. All of them have a vested interest in keeping control over us. All of them, one with a shed, we mouth, which I personally will not do. You have to lick out the teeth them and cut out the tongue first, and then I will still making noise. None of you can commit crime by my silent. None of you cannot carry out corruption aided by my silent. Me attack, me ball out. Whoa, yo. No, you not get to commit crime by my silence. Not an inch of it. Not an inch of it.
Ball out! Whoa, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out somebody.
I wonder, it's just a wonder. This is just purely a wonder. Where you say, Shana, when me shout it not pleasant? Okay, sorry. This is just a wonder. Could it be that the reason why the Andrew Holness regime turned up corruption, unlike the other JLP regime, are because so much Adventist in there? Andrew Holness is Adventist. The Governor General is Adventist. Marlon Morgan is Adventist. Pernell Charles Jr. is Adventist. And there's probably more wicked Adventists amongst them. So now that the Church of England wickedness and the Adventist wickedness mix together, we have corruption 2.0 under an Andrew Holness. But Carencia, go on back, go find something, do, darling. Never work out for you. Yes, you may have earned a lot of kickback and all that jazz out of a public purse. Go on with what you have, darling. Go on. Some breaking news on a nationwide. Read the Southeast Regional Authority contract I see have under investigation. Beat and teach the whole country need to go under investigation. All 14 municipal corporation, the entire government, all agencies of government. But do we have any force when we investigate these people? Because Keisha useless. Let's face it. Keisha is useless. You're going to have to, Andrew Holness going to have to kill a man for Keisha find it necessary to persecute. Because Keisha always find it necessary to give Andrew a free ticket and make sure Andrew Holness don't face justice for the crime where Andrew Holness commit against the Jamaica people. It's a disgrace. It is a disgrace. In the conference yesterday, I think it was Mahiri Stewart asked a question. And this one answered by saying, it was a question in regards to the KMC debacle involving the PNP and Roe and all that. The answer he gave, though, was this issue is a flagrant threat to our democracy. What he means by that, I don't understand. How that then becomes a threat to our democracy. I don't understand what he was talking about. What kind of calamity happening in a Darrell constituency with the bridge the beat and teach? What kind of new development 15 billion to spend to provide portable water across the island? Now, Jesus, keep the wheel, because you have to have wheel for Jesus to deal with them people. Hear nobody I talk about make sure them revive back with water system at least to where the slave master did leave it. Because when the slave master leave parity, they left with high water pressure and we own pump. And we did have our own river given to us by God. And we own spring given to us by God. And a tough time take out we pump. And find that my brother tell me so they come fix the water situation now. Jamaica and United States to establish mutual custom assistance agreement. Whatever that means. I don't have time for reading a bullshit. Let me see. Zara Burton. Hold on there. What that's something there. And if I have time to ask Miss Doris to read Zara Burton article for me. Hold on, let's see if Sonia will read. Who was it that was asking me about the thingy? Let me see if I'm not able to open it here. But yes, we didn't find the social housing application. I'm trying to get it open. Where is it? Here. Let me see if it open. It's not opening on my thing. Oh God, I have it in PDF, but it's not opening. Hold on. Who I have an open with. But Colleen, if you take my number down, I can forward the application to you because I'm not getting it open at the moment. But stay with me a second. I want to try and see if I can bring in this article. Bear with. I need to try and see if I can read this Zara Burton article. Bear with, please. Bear with. And this is to do with Andrew Holness and the Estate Bridge saga. Let me see. If it opens up, we will. Oh, God. This computer is giving me a 6 and telling me this is a 9. I wonder if I'm in the studio still. Oh, God, I can't see anything. Dear, oh, dear. Hold on, me go up me thing there because the browser tell me say now respond on this, yeah. Hello. Sorry about that. My computer browser freezes. So I guess I'm knocked out of the studio on the computer. So I think you can hear me. No, that's another bridge saga. Hold on. Some breaking news. Hold on to my peeps. My computer crashed for me. So bear with me, please. Let me know. When I hear me? Yes, loud and clear. Thank you. Bear with me. My browser crashed. So I have to reopen my browser. You bear with. Oh, such is technology. Bear with. Let me restore and see what will happen. Bear with me. Bear with me, oh, bear with me. I'm trying to come back. And that horroring noise. Sorry about that. Sorry about the horroring noise. Let me just set myself back up, my peeps. Right, I was trying to ask Becky to do this reading.
18 Degrees North Investigations. Subscribe. Sign in. Updated. How connected is PM Holness to the housing project said to have been in breach? Zara Burton. January 13th, 2025. 3. Share. This story has been updated mostly to reflect the fact that the KSAMC on Friday announced that it had approved an amended building application from Estate Bridge, regularizing the breaches, so the development is now deemed compliant. Even with the update, the essence of the story remains intact since it's about evaluating the level of connectedness by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness to the housing development. Subscriber content. Estate Bridge's Waycliffe Close development. Photo taken December 12, 2024. License plate of vehicle has been intentionally erased. After the release of an Integrity Commission report that connected him to a housing project found to be in breach of its building permit, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness sought to distance himself from the project. In a statement on December 10th, the Prime Minister said, "I am not a director of the company which is the subject of the report, and I am not a shareholder in the company, nor do I own the property in question. Therefore, it is a puzzle to me why I am a subject of this report." But in his statement, the Prime Minister didn't deny being connected to the development, which is what the IC had stated. Without specifically implicating him in any wrongdoing related to the permit breaches, the IC said the Prime Minister is connected to the development based on the fact that his now defunct St. Lucian offshore company, ADMAT Incorporated, initially owned the Waycliffe Close land being developed. It was also by virtue of the fact that the Prime Minister is the sole director, shareholder and beneficial owner of Imperium Investments Holdings Limited, which had shares in Estate Bridge, the company doing the development, at the time that the planning and/or building permit was issued on July 12, 2021. As a result of PM Holness' statement, 18 Degrees North has been combing through previous investigations and publications to examine just how connected he is to the Waycliffe Close development, as the IC claims. Here are some relevant facts and also some questions. Share. Related story. Ownership and directorship of Estate Bridge development clarified by Companies Office. PM Holness ADMAT Incorporated owned the land. A year after being registered in St. Lucia in 2008, ADMAT Incorporated acquired 2 Waycliffe Close in 2009 while Holness was Minister of Education. ADMAT paid $15.275 million, $173,029 for the property, which is located in the Beverly Hills community in St. Andrew Parish. 2 years later, in 2011, it also acquired another nearby property on Shenston Drive, where PM Holness lives today. Holness had clarified from February 2016, while opposition leader, that ADMAT was set up for estate planning and was named for his then underage sons, Adam and Matthew. He said he was the sole director of ADMAT, and that he and his sons were the company's only shareholders. He would tell the IC years later that he and his sons were ADMAT's shareholders and directors. Building permit was issued while PM Holness ADMAT Incorporated owned the land. From as far back as 2010, documents obtained by 18 Degrees North under the Access to Information Act show that Holness' longtime associate, Robert Garvin, had applied as an individual to the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, the KSAMC, to build townhouses on the land. The application made clear then that ADMAT owned the land. This means that even before he became Prime Minister, Holness always had intention to build townhouses at Waycliffe Close. It's not fully clear why approval took 11 years, but it appears there was some rejection and resubmission of the application. By the time the KSAMC issued the building permit on July 12, 2021, the name on the permit was Estate Bridge Holdings Limited. The company's name was changed to Estate Bridge Development Limited on February 19, 2021. That means, when the permit was issued, PM Holness ADMAT Incorporated still owned the land. ADMAT transferred the land via gift to Estate Bridge months later on November 4, 2021, just before ADMAT itself was dissolved in St. Lucia in December 2021. At the time of the transfer to Estate Bridge in November 2021, PM Holness Holding Company, Imperium Investments, registered in Jamaica in June 2020, had a stake in Estate Bridge. Then, and even today, PM Holness is the sole director, sole shareholder and beneficial owner of Imperium, according to the IC's report on PM Holness statutory declarations. Before ADMAT was dissolved, PM Holness told the IC that he transferred ADMAT's assets to Imperium, including his Shenston Drive property where he lives. However, he said, it was more economical to transfer ADMAT's Waycliffe Close property directly to Estate Bridge. Estate Bridge shareholders and directors. Estate Bridge was incorporated in Jamaica in July 2024 for construction, repair and alteration of buildings. At the time of its incorporation, PM Holness Imperium Investments owned 5,001 of Estate Bridge's 9,001 issued ordinary shares, making Imperium the majority shareholder. 999 shares of the company's 10,000 ordinary shares remained unallotted. The other shareholders were PM Holness' sister, Sidgia Anderson, 2,000 shares, and Norman Brown, 2,000 shares. Both were also directors from inception. At the time, Brown was already chairman of the government entity, Housing Agency of Jamaica, HAJ, which falls under the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, which is presided over by the Prime Minister. As of 2024, he is also now chairman of the Urban Development Corporation, UDC, also under PM Holness jurisdiction. On January 28, 2021, Imperium gave up 1,000 shares in Estate Bridge, and on that same date, PM Holness' son, Adam, acquired the same number of shares. PM Holness told the IC that Adam became a shareholder in Estate Bridge upon obtaining the age of majority. The summer before, in June 2020, a news article listed him as being 17 years old. On March 29, 2021, Adam became a director of Estate Bridge and acquired an additional 1,000 shares as Brown forfeited 1,000 of his 2,000 shares. That means the Prime Minister's son, Adam, his sister, Sidgia Anderson, his associate, Norman Brown, and PM Holness' own holding company, Imperium, were all shareholders in Estate Bridge at the time the building permit was issued in July 2021. However, by the following year, Imperium had surrendered all its remaining 4,001 ordinary shares back to the company effective October 20, 2022, according to the notice sent to the company's office by Estate Bridge. This leaves the current shareholders as Adam, 2,000 shares, Anderson, 2,000 shares, and Brown, 1,000 shares. All three also remain the company's directors. It was the directors of Estate Bridge that the IC had held liable for the permit breaches, which entailed more rooms being built than was approved by the KSAMC. A later probe by the KSAMC couldn't confirm the room count breaches, but still revealed some breaches like the dining room, a living room being extended, and the powder room being converted to a storage area. Since the IC's report was released on December 10, 2024, Estate Bridge that same day filed with the KSAMC an as-built application, as it was told it could do, to regularize changes to the approved plans. On Friday, January 10, 2025, the KSAMC said that that application had been approved after an extensive technical review of the updated documents, and the development is now deemed to be compliant. PM Holness appears to live closest to the property. Though Adam was listed with a Shenston Drive address on company documents when appointed as a director in 2021, and though his name surfaces on building documents filed with the KSAMC that 18 Degrees North has seen, he doesn't appear now to live in Jamaica. According to his LinkedIn profile, Adam has been studying for a bachelor's degree in artificial intelligence at Oxford Brookes University in England since August 2022, and has been working full-time and on-site in data communications at Cummins Incorporated in England since June 2024. Director Sijia Anderson also doesn't appear to be local. Though she was listed with an Ensom City, St. Catherine address on company documents, her LinkedIn profile lists her as a human resources manager in the New York City metropolitan area. The IC had also confirmed in its investigation report into PM Holness statutory declarations that she resides overseas. Anderson told investigators that a building contractor manages the day-to-day operations of the real estate development, the construction, while Director Norman Brown manages the few day-to-day operations of the business. Brown owns St. James-based Pembroke Trucking, reportedly involved in transport, real estate development, and cement distribution. On Estatebridge's company documents, he is personally listed as having an Ironshore, St. James address, almost 3 hours away from Waycliffe Close, though he reportedly comes into Kingston at least monthly for UDC and HAJ board meetings. PM Holness lives a 2-minute drive away from the development in the same Beverly Hills community at Shenston Drive. This raises a question as to whether PM Holness, at any point, had supervised or checked in on the project. Would he have been aware of any building violations? Were PM Holness entities involved when any breaches occurred? Those questions are important because though the breaches identified by the IC and, later, by the KSAMC were observed in 2024, almost 2 years after Imperium relinquished its shares in Estatebridge, an excerpt of an interview that the IC did with Norman Brown in December 2023 raises a question about whether breaches had occurred before 2024, while PM Holness entities were directly invested or involved. In that interview with the IC, which was then related to its initial probe of PM Holness statutory declarations, Brown stated about the project's commencement date. I am unsure of the exact date it started. It may have been sometime in 2020. He also stated that the project is managed by Mr. Kennedy Nesbitt of KNN Design and Construction Limited, who, in addition to Estatebridge directors, was also deemed liable by the IC for the permit breaches. 2020 would have been before the KSAMC's permit was issued in July 2021. Therefore, if construction was going on then, the project would have been in breach at a time when PM Holness Admat Incorporated owned the land. Additionally, if construction was occurring after July 2020, it would also have been when his Imperium Investments would have been the majority shareholder in Estatebridge, the developer of the land. PM Holness signed as CEO, a managing director, the executive director of Estatebridge in 2021, while Imperium was a shareholder. PM Holness and directors Brown and Anderson were the signatories on Estatebridge's NCB current and savings accounts at the time that they were opened on November 9, 2020, according to the IC. However, the company's account opening forms dated January 11, 2021 at Investment House, NCB Capital Markets, indicate that PM Holness was the sole individual authorized to act on behalf of the company and signed the document as CEO or Managing Director or Executive Director. PM Holness was removed as a signatory on November 15, 2022 on the basis that Imperium was no longer a majority shareholder. The IC stated that Directors Brown and Anderson are the signatories on all accounts held by Estatebridge. Intercompany bank transfers between PM Holness, Estatebridge, Imperium and Positive Media Solutions continued up until June 2023. According to the IC's report on PM Holness statutory declarations, a forensic examination of bank accounts attributable to PM Holness and the companies, Imperium, Estatebridge, and another one named Positive Media Solutions Limited was carried out for transactions between January 1, 2020 and June 13, 2023. It revealed cumulative intercompany deposits and withdrawals of around $473 million, $3.27 million and $427 million, $2.95 million, respectively. Table taken from the IC's report on PM Holness statutory declarations. Estate Bridge's accounts saw deposits totaling just over $170 million, $1.18 million US, coming from PM Wholeness, Estate Bridge, intra-account transfers, and Imperium. They also saw withdrawals in the sum of $129 million, $894,460 US by Estate Bridge, intra-account transfers, and Imperium. However, specific transaction dates between these accounts aren't detailed in the report. So, it's not clear if the interactions between the accounts of just Estate Bridge and PM Wholeness or Imperium continued after Imperium surrendered its shares in Estate Bridge by October 20, 2022. The inclusion by the IC of positive media complicates the analysis, and neither the IC nor PM Wholeness responded to inquiries from 18 Degrees North seeking clarity on this matter. Is the forfeiture of Imperium's shares in Estate Bridge reflected in PM Wholeness asset declarations? Within the IC's report that examined PM Wholeness statutory declarations between 2018 and 2022, it's explicitly laid out that the Prime Minister disclosed the Wycliffe Close property as part of his assets up to 2020 while it was owned by ADMAT. Then, the value of the land was displayed at the purchase price of $15.275 million, $105,585 US. Table excerpted from the IC's report on PM Wholeness statutory declarations. Blue writing added by 18 Degrees North for clarity. Not as clear is whether PM Wholeness continued to declare this asset after it was transferred in November 2021 from ADMAT to Estate Bridge, which was then partly owned by PM Wholeness Imperium Investments. The report did, however, include information from the 2021 and 2022 financials of Imperium, showing the value of its investments in Estate Bridge, including the $15.275 million purchase price for Wycliffe Close and an additional $23.283 million, $160,941 US for contribution to real estate development. Excerpt from the IC's investigation into PM Wholeness statutory declarations describing Imperium's business investments in 2021 and 2022. When asked about the source of funds for this $23.283 million contribution to Estate Bridge from Imperium, PM Wholeness told the IC it comprised of transfer of JMD 10, 636, 236.60 in stocks to Estate Bridge, a net consolidated balance on related company account of JMD 12, 647, 144.90. An accountant told 18 Degrees North that net consolidated balance usually means the net assets of a company. It appears the related company is Imperium, based on the matching dollar amount presented in a pie chart included in the IC's report. Pie chart taken from the IC's report on PM Wholeness statutory declarations. The $23.283 million plus the $15.275 million equates to $38.558 million, $266,526 US. The IC commented that as of October 20, 2022, when Imperium ceased to be a shareholder in Estate Bridge, it forfeited its remaining 4,001 shares, and in doing so, seemingly, its $38,558,382 contribution up to that point. That could be because when Estate Bridge notified the company's office of the shareholder change, it explained that Imperium had surrendered all its 4,001 ordinary shares back to the company as a gift. If Imperium's $38.558 million investment in Estate Bridge was forfeited as a gift for no consideration, the question then arises, did PM Wholeness statutory declarations reflect this drop in his assets in 2022? The figures presented for his 2022 statutory declaration in the IC's investigation don't obviously reflect that. In fact, compared to 2021, the value of his investments in Imperium went up in 2022, even though the disposition of the asset would have been required to have been declared on his statutory declaration form as at December 31st, 2022. Table excerpted from the IC's report on PM Holness statutory declarations describing the value of his business investments in Imperium between 2018 and 2022. Blue and green writing added for clarity. There is the possibility, however, that Imperium's other assets increased in value to more than offset the $38.558 million relinquishment of its investments in Estatebridge. Overall, compared to 2020, there was an increase in the combined net worth of PM Holness and Imperium for 2021 and 2022. Table taken from the IC report into the statutory declarations of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. The IC explained that it combined the assets of PM Holness and Imperium because it was almost impossible to distinguish between the assets owned in his name and that of Imperium's. Green arrows added by 18 degrees north to highlight the information of specific interest to this story. Similar entries for 2023 weren't presented in the report, so it's not known if Imperium's full relinquishment of its shares in Estatebridge would have been more obviously reflected then. The IC does have PM Holness 2023 statutory declaration. However, according to information in a recent court ruling related to the Prime Minister's attempt to contest some of the IC's findings about him regarding his statutory declarations. The IC didn't answer a question from 18 degrees north about whether PM Holness 2022 and 2023 statutory declarations reflected the relinquishment of Imperium's investments in the property at Wycliffe Close and Estatebridge. PM Holness didn't answer either. ###. Editor's notes. Except for the first reference to the $15.275 million purchase price of the Wycliffe Close land in 2009, when the average exchange sell rate was $88.28 $1. The exchange rate used throughout this article is $144.67 $1, which is the average of the sum of the average sell rates for each of the years between 2018 and 2023 found on the Bank of Jamaica's website. The initial US dollar equivalent of the $15.275 million at $173,029 US varies significantly from the later conversion of the same amount at $105,585 US because of depreciation of the Jamaican dollar from 2009. Share. Leave a comment. 18 degrees north investigations.
Thanks to Zara Burton for that. Are so much labor right did there? Are so much people bored because almost 100 on a drop off since the reading. But I only want to ask two questions with regard to a question and a comment. The comment is, if it is that when these politicians, as in Estatebridge and Dennis Gordon from the PNP, carry out these building breaches and the only recompense is with hearsay, they made an application to normalize the breach. If that's the only penalty, why are we worried then? You can't walk and do any amount of breach. You can't do, because all it takes is for you to make an application to normalize the breach. So it's barely a waste of time, all of this argument about building breach. What building breach? Just tell them can you make an application to normalize the breach? Because that's all we're going to do. So why should we be bothered? But on this paragraph, Prime Minister, I want to ask a question. Now we find out that Adam is studying in the UK at Oxbrook University. We know say by the international space, him not really qualify for it. When you come to international space, as long as you can pass the English requirement, then we take you. And you know how the corruption go. But last year, Prime Minister, I asked you if you own a house, a property in Oxford, United Kingdom. I mean, I hear you grumble, not anything, since me ask the question. Now that we are aware that Adam lives and studies within those calamity, we're going to ask the question again. Do you own a property in the United Kingdom, particularly in Oxfordshire? We're asking if you own or rent the property. It is important. It is important, Prime Minister. Do you own or rent the property that Adam would have lived in the United Kingdom? Prime Minister. Because Oxbrook University, and it's Brookes University, is within the Oxfordshire region of town. And that's where I ask you, Prime Minister, if you bought that house, if you owned a property, Prime Minister. So even now that we know little teeny bit more, that Adam lives in the UK, Adam studies in the UK, and particularly, Prime Minister, in Oxford, where we ask if you own a property. I think you must answer, you should answer that question, whether it's you or Adam buy. Because we know Adam have hope of money, you know. Adam no look cheap, finky picking. Adam can buy any amount of catavan Adam want buy. So it would be good for the Prime Minister to tell us if he owns a property or if Adam owns a property in such neck of the woods. So that's the question we would really want to ask from that Prime Minister. That's the question. Colleen James, are you still here? Colleen James, are you still here? I'm trying to open this thing in a Word document. When I try to open certain things, it freezes my computer. Is Colleen James still here? You asked about the new housing project, new social housing project application. Let me try and see if I can bring that on screen for you. Let me see. Oh no, it's not allowing me to open it here. I would have to. Oh God. Now I'm having problem opening that bloody application. Hold on there. But everything is a scam and a racketeer under this government. Literally is. Literally is a scam and a racketeer run by the Andrew Holness regime. But I don't know if Jamaicans are seeing what is happening in our country by this Andrew Holness led regime. It's one set of scam after the other. Literally one set of scam. But the social housing thingy application, I'm going to have to do it out in screenshots and bring it later because it's not opening for me on this side. But I'll take screenshot of it. Hold on, let me see if I can bring you this video.
So what that means is that the average...
1 second. Because as you know, we're calling as a part of the People's Tribunal this month. We need to institute a People's Tribunal in Jamaica where we can persecute or politician them in public and bring them to justice. Because we going to have to take up justice in our own hand. Because literally, we don't have nobody amongst us really interested in a justice. So let's just listen to this bit. It's concerned housing trust.
NHC contributor simply will never be able to afford a house that was built using the NHC money. Because what the NHC has done now is to enter into what I consider to be an indecent settlement. An indecent settlement that has really served nobody's interest but the interest of a private development company. NHC has not gotten value for money. The taxpayers of this country have not gotten value for money. Because all that has happened is that NHC has agreed to take back the $650 million that they gave and accept a further payment of $20 million in full and final settlement of the claim.
When one of those houses that were under the contract is now is selling for more than $20 million. Madam Attorney Zalika Jesse, this is indeed, I believe that it reached the threshold of being described as a scandal, a major scandal indeed. What say you?
Well, as I've mentioned before, this hobby is what I would consider to be, and any well-thinking and reasonable person ought properly to consider this to be a national scandal. It is a national scandal. It is a slap in the face of NHC contributors. Because I'm not sure people understand the gravity of this situation. You have a situation where the NHC has essentially been raped. The National Housing Trust has been raped to fund and finance a private development company that has used the $650 million of NHC money to build a private development, and they are now selling those houses at a landslide profit at a rate and for a price that NHC contributors can simply not afford. The average NHC contributors can simply not afford to buy into a development that was built on the completely continue to allow 200 houses are unaccounted for.
Absolutely, Madam Attorney Zalika, just caretaker for the constituency of Northeast.
As a part of our program this morning, the People's Tribunal, we're calling for a complete hold on all housing projects involving the government, whether it be the National Housing Trust, it is a social indigent housing program, or rather the new housing duplicated project. All housing projects involving the government must be halted until we, the people, understand what is happening. What says the People's National Party? What says civil society? And what says you, the people, especially you, the contributors of the National Housing Trust? We, the people of Jamaica, has been ripped off left, right, and center in the name of housing. Thank you for being here with us this morning on Global TV. Lovely to have your support as usual. We will tell all on Audi later. But join us back this evening for the people's point of view. Carlos Wagwan, bro. Everybody, TikTok and YouTube, thank you all for being here this evening. We could not and cannot continue to pursue our pursuit of justice without your participation. Thank you all very much for being here. We were just free-flowing because we didn't really have a planned program this morning. But thank you all very much. Join us back this evening for the people's point of view. Good morning and good afternoon from the Global Television Group.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.